From the Opopco Studios in Oklahoma City, you are watching The Press Row. I'm Jenni Carlson. I'm solo in studio this week. Barry Trammell already on the road for Oklahoma State's game against Arizona, but Barry joins us on the phone. It's time for our weekly 5 in 5 segment, Barry. 5 topics, a minute each. Let's get right to it. To start off with, let's talk about OU's opener, since everybody else is. Is this a cause for concern?
I think so, yes. Now, I don't think it's cause for alarm.
Okay.
It's a little bit more strong word. But I've seen OU struggle in season openers for 40 years. They did it often with Barry Twister teams. They've done it often with Bob Stoops' teams. So is it cause for concern? Yeah, they need to pass block better. The receivers need to get open. The special teams were a disaster. The ends lost their assignment on defense from time to time. So, yeah, that's a cause for concern. Get to practice, get those things ironed out, and see where you're at.
Yeah, I definitely think so. You know, listening to Bob Stoops on Monday during his press conference, he just kept reiterating how it was little things. It was a mistake here, a mistake there, one guy, one possession, another guy or another area totally on a different possession. So clearly it's not just one specific area. Now, you mentioned a few, Barry, where they're going to have to get markedly better, blocking on the offensive line, things like that, just overall. But I do think it's a matter of guys focusing, staying, really intense throughout the game. They're not going to have to against Florida A&M, though, Barry. So when we're talking about cause for concern with some of these things from game one, probably not going to see those things come back really into play until Oklahoma has to play a much tougher opponent, that being K-State. All right, let's talk about OSU for a second, Barry. They have their road opener this week at Arizona. Who is in the crosshairs in this game?
Well, I think it's clearly Wes Lunt. That's an obvious answer. But,
sure.
This is a kid who 11 for 11 against Savannah State was not pressed. It was like a three-quarters drill in practice or something where you're expected to just complete the pass. It's going to be a lot different. Now, the Arizona defense stinks. They're not any good at all, but they are Pac-12 athletes. They're going to get lined up pretty good. It's going to have to be, a solid game for Wes Lunt. So, I think his debut really happens in the desert, not last Saturday against Savannah State.
Yeah, and I agree. 11 for 11. It wasn't. There weren't a ton of tough throws, but I thought the kid was pretty cool under pressure, especially when he's facing his first full stadium. But to me, Barry, a guy that can really help Wes Lunt. As a guy on the defense, it's Glenn Spencer. Obviously Bill Young's off the sidelines for a while, had a medical procedure, and now Glenn Spencer's coordinating this defense on his own. If he can get those guys, and then by extension, if they can, manage on the field the game well, if they can all do their jobs well, I think that really helps Wes Lunt. If Arizona's not running wild with the spread, had a ton of yards last week against Toledo in their opener, which obviously Oklahoma State's defense is going to be better. But if Glenn Spencer and his crew can really play a good game, I think that helps Wes Lunt on Saturday. Hey, Barry, let's talk a little NFL for a second. They opened on Wednesday night with a great game, the Super Bowl champs. Your G-men, you love them. Okay, so who you got in the Super Bowl this year, Barry?
Well, I'm picking one. I guess I'm picking two pretty obvious. The last few years, we've had sort of a stealth candidate. Green Bay and the Giants both won Super Bowls coming through the wild card. I'm going with two teams that look to be pretty potent. I'm going to say the Packers get back there and the Houston Texans.
Okay.
I think the Texans were a candidate last year if Matt Schaub isn't hurt, and I think he's a big-time quarterback. And I think the Packers were the best team in the league last year. I think they'll get back there this year. I think they're going to be hungry. I think they're going to be motivated. With Aaron Rodgers, they've got the best player on the planet. So I like the Packers and the Texans, and I'll take Green Bay to win it.
Well, I could sign up for that matchup. That'd be a lot of fun. But I'm going to go with the Broncos and the 49ers, Barry. I know it might be trendy to pick Peyton Manning, but I loved the Broncos last year. I thought they had some really good things going on defense, which clearly you need to win a Super Bowl. It's a thing that tripped up the Packers last year. And now that they've got Manning, I really feel like offensively they're going to be able to do what they need to do to pair with that defense to get there. And then the Niners, so close, Barry, a year ago, just some muffed punts really kept them from maybe getting to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to go with the Niners, but any of those matchups would be good. After the other night, I'm ready for NFL football to just take us all the way into February. All right, Barry, with all these games starting, let's talk about something you love almost as much as football, food. What's your favorite game day food, Barry?
Well, if I'm at the ballpark, just give me a good old-fashioned ballpark hot dog wrapped up in foil. That's right in my wheelhouse.
I love it.
But if I'm sitting at home watching a ball game, like last night or one of these all-day Saturday deals, you know what's really growing on me is guacamole.
Ah.
Now, it's not really a football. I mean, it's not really an American tradition guacamole, not like apple pie and hot dogs. I like guacamole because it's sort of limited. If you get salsa, you could eat a gallon of salsa and not even realize it.
That's true.
But guacamole sort of keeps you in line, and it's healthy for you, and it's really good. I think guacamole is becoming a big game day tradition.
All right, I like that. If I'm going to tailgate or if I'm going to be out at a game, I don't mind having a beer. Barry, I know we disagree on this, but I don't mind having a little beer if I'm going to be out at a game. But if I'm sitting at home, I love the smell of popcorn. I'll make a bag of popcorn, eat it up. Love having popcorn while I'm watching the game. But yeah, if you got some guac over your house, Barry, I'm on my way. How's that sound?
Well, that sounds good. Save the popcorn for the movie theater.
Well, it's good for the movies, too. All right, lastly, Barry, replacement referees. We got our first glimpse of those in that Giants-Cowboys game. On a scale of 1 to 10, how big of an issue is the fact that the NFL is using replacement refs this season?
I'm going to say an 8. Before last night, I was ready to say a 9.
Okay.
But I thought those guys did a decent job. There's a bunch of flags. I assume that all those illegal false start penalties were legit. So I think they did an okay job. It's still a major issue, though, from a safety standpoint. The NFL's got to get that fixed. But I was proud of those guys last night. They're in a tough situation. I thought they handled it well.
Yeah, I have to agree, Barry. Didn't hear about a ton of blown calls. You know, I think there were some pass interference plays, but Barry, you know how tough that is. That's a tough play to call, even for the guys that have done it for years and years. So you didn't see a lot of the issues that popped up in the preseason, but I will say this. That had to be what the NFL considered their top replacement official group. You have to think that for the opener, with all the scrutiny that was going to be on that game, that they were going to use the best guys and gals. Now that we've got a gal in the replacement ref crew, they had to have their best people out there. And so you have to think.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
I mean, you have to think there's still going to be some games, Barry, where this is going to be an issue. And you mentioned safety. That, to me, is the biggest thing in all of this, Barry.
Yeah, that's a great point. That was the cream of the crop last night.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. Lots of games on Sunday to be watching. That's one more thing to be watching. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.